I'm sitting next to it. You know, there aren't enough words. Every time he comes on the show, I run out of words. You want to use the headphones? Go ahead for you. The director, the writer, the producer, the author, the studio owner. You can do
the
it.
studio owner.
Whatever you want to do is all right with me, man.
All right.
We can. You want to direct this whole interview?
No, man, it's all you, Sway. Come on.
The dude has done so much, but most recently, man, we all celebrated on the opening of the Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, Georgia. 330 acres.
Yes.
Right? 330 acres of the largest studio of its kind, first of its kind, conceived, executed, owned by the one and only Tyler Perry, and he's here with us right now. Give a big round of applause for Tyler Perry.
Thank you. Why am I sitting so high?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you got the. Hey, man, everything about you now is gonna be on a pedestal. You know the way you sit. Come on, you go to the bathroom. The toilet seats are higher for you, Tyler. Come on, man.
No, not when I talk about my writer's room. The way they told me up on that, man.
What they
crazy.
say? What do you mean?
Come on, you know that.
I know.
Yeah, come on, you know about
but
that.
But the fact that you write
everything,
and produce. And direct.
No, just that I did this post on New Year's, right after New Year's, showing all the scripts that I have been in, written, and all this stuff. And there's a few hundred that I've written for the year.
Yeah.
And I was getting all this hate and backlash. What is wrong with That's what's wrong with your stuff, because you write everything yourself. What? I'm just like, wow, where's all this hate come from? I was trying to motivate them by saying work ethic, inspire them. But it turned out to be another thing. So what'd you see when you saw it? What'd you see?
Well, I have always thought, even prior, you don't have to put a post for me to know that your work ethic is sparkling.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. I did see some folks concerned just about your self-care when this Tyler, catches balance.
Yeah.
But then also people wondering if that now takes away an opportunity for Black writers to collaborate and learn from you.
Well, let me tell you what this is. So the first thing that happened, this is about 10 years ago. I had a writer's room, and it was a really bad experience for me. They were turning in scripts that I had to pay for, repay for if they were bad, and I was just like, I'll just do it myself. And my ratings started to take a dip. So I just said, I'm going to write my own stuff. But listen, the Have and Have-Nots is still the #1 show on Tuesday nights. The Oval and Sister is still the #1 show on BET. So somebody's loving my writing. So I'm going to focus on that. But as far as Tyler Perry Studios, there are other projects that we're working on, that there's going to be a showrunner, that there'll be other writers that are not what my audience is expecting from me. So, yeah, there'll be other opportunities. But as far as self-care to go, no, I'm good.
You good? You're healthy?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
You're not being selfish by not letting other people write.
No.
I'm just making sure. You're trying to keep all the money?
No, that ain't what
case.
it is, man. When you are a writer, they give you what's called combat pay if you can write something in 3 months. I write my whole season in 2 weeks. Most writers take, like, if they're going to go write a script or a movie, they get 6, 7, 8 months to go write it. I write these things in like 2 weeks because it's my head. All this stuff is in my head, and my audience loves it. So I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm speaking directly to them. We speak a language, so I'm not going to change what I'm doing because people don't like that I write everything. So
that's interesting, because we had a conversation with Ed Gordon, who has a new book about,
he just gave it to me.
He gave you the
book.
Where's the
it.
book at?
One of Tyler's people stole it already.
Yeah, they already stole it.
But they put it in the car for me. Yeah, I didn't want to forget it.
But it's based on conversations that Black folks are having around leadership, politics, religion, or whatever the case may be. And your name came up because I thought you were a great representation of the change we see in Hollywood, but primarily because you made the change yourself. You know what I mean? You decided, I saw a quote where you said you didn't want to sit at the table. You decided to go to Atlanta and build your own table. Yeah. And then I asked him what was the consensus with all the people that he interviewed about you. And a lot of them it was divided between creative and accomplishment. Yeah. Some folks still don't necessarily favor what you do creatively, but they love what you do as a businessman.
You know what it is? They don't get it.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. My mother taught me very, very much about my blackness, right? She didn't want me to apologize for being black. She was raised in a Jim Crow South. I got an uncle with ashy kneecaps, and we like watermelon. We like Popeye's chicken biscuits. We like, and people are like, oh my God, don't tell anybody like that. What are you saying to me? This is my experience. And all of these women that I grew up with, who were having issues with their men, who were looking for love, who never got to worthy, who never understood themselves, subconsciously I'm always talking to my mother, and I'm putting it in these simple little gift wrap so that when people see it, it's not something that's so complicated you got to go home and think about it. I want it in your face. I am particular and specific about what I'm doing because I know the people that I'm talking to that I grew up with. It ain't for everybody. And if you've been educated a certain way or if you come through a certain thing, God bless you. That ain't my experience. My experience is real straight up hood shit, right? That's where I come from. And I love that about me. And it's been those people who have put me in this position, who built this studio, and I owe them to keep telling their stories because they are me. So I get it if you don't get my stuff. God bless you. I understand that. That's all. That's completely all right. But there's a lot of stuff I don't get, and I wish that people would stop trying to. We got all the ladies coming in.
Ladies,
wow.
The ladies coming
Crystal
in. Fox, Bresha Webb. Oh,
Bresha
wow.
Webb. Miss Phylicia Rashad. Yeah, stand up. Crystal Fox, Bresha Webb, Phylicia Rashad. Yeah. Go and grab one, ladies.
Hello. Beautiful. Thank you. Hi, how you doing? Hi. I know, yes. Wow. Beautiful rainbow.
Look at that, man. Are we underdressed? Wow. Okay, this is amazing.
We just came from something else. So.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't even get to finish the point of that.
Yeah, but go for it.
The point of what I was saying is just that my mother taught me about that. And you have to understand that during a time when there was once a Black Wall Street during segregation, right before, where Black people supported other Black people. That's why I've been able to build all that I've been able to build because of the support of us. I'm not going to change anything I'm doing because we get me. Yeah. And if other people don't get it, it ain't for them, and that's okay. That's okay. I built a business being specific. You don't see Coke changing their formula because somebody likes Pepsi. Yeah,
that's a good point. Tyler Perry is here, and then his staff. We're going to come right back because the cast is here actually.
Fall from grace. That's right.
I'm a little flabbergasted because of who the cast is.
Yes.
Looking beautiful.
Crystal Fox is here. Come on, man.
Beautiful.
Okay, Bresha Webb is here. Come on.
Our citizen is Sway in the morning. Remember when she came back? Yes, we remember.
Phylicia Rashad is here, y'all.
Phylicia Rashad, legend. Royal, regal.
Coming right back. Sway in the Morning, Shade 45. You guys, welcome to the show. First of all, big round of applause for the cast of A Fall from Grace, January 17th. On Netflix. Who do I start with? Y'all mind if I start with Phylicia?
Of course. You kidding me?
Okay.
Wow.
First of all, it's an honor to have you on our show.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You've been in my spirit for decades, so to have you here in the physical seems like a complete 360. So I want to welcome you to Sway in the Morning. This could go on for about an hour, really.
Go right ahead.
Yes.
I remember when I want to say it was about 2010. There was the NAACP dubbed you the mother of the Black community.
Wow.
And I thought it was so fitting because. Although my mother and many mothers were there, you were like the substitute mother for all of us. We got a lot of information, especially when you were doing the Cosby Show and through all the different works that you've done. When you got that award, did you embrace it? What did that mean to you?
Which one?
When they dubbed you, when the NAACP dubbed you the mother of the Black community.
That is a very humbling experience. And that, for me, is the most significant recognition that I have received.
Wow. That says so much.
Really?
Yeah.
What did it mean to you? What made it so significant? Why was it so?
Because of what mother means. And to be embraced by your people as the mother of the community, that's a lot.
Wow. Damn, y'all got this every day when y'all was on the set.
Don't you get goosebumps?
I'm proud to call her my friend, but also mentor because she does that.
She does that.
When it's that, you're just like, yes. Whatever you're saying, yes.
But that's real. It's like I've seen people try to do that and be like, no, that is like real. You see that kind of grace and class and elegance walk into a place, you go, who is that? Yeah, that's right.
How did you and Phylicia first meet? Where was that? Was it Good Deeds or what?
I was in London.
Okay.
I was on the London stage in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and you called. You called because you were doing For Colored Girls.
Yes. I wanted you to do it.
Yeah, we spoke on the phone, and you said, I really want you to do this. I'm going to send this to you, and I hope you can do this. I hope you'll say yes. And I think it was a few hours later that you got the yes.
Yeah. And to have somebody like her and this Tyson to say yes to you.
Man, Cicely Tyson.
Are you kidding me? To say yes to me meant the world, because it's like somebody validates what I'm doing, and also the attempt of me trying to grow and get better. They're like, I see you, baby. How can I help you here? So that's wonderful. Wonderful.
Wow.
I didn't think it's so much of a help to you as it was to me.
Really?
I mean, I was honored.
Well, thank you, Don. I appreciate it.
I was honored to do that.
Well, that's why I saw it as, she's coming to help me.
No, and we'd never met.
Yeah.
And on the first day of filming, we were doing an exterior shot here in New York, and you strode onto the set, and I looked at you, this mountain of a man, walking so calmly and confidently through the New York traffic, and you very gently, you just turned to one of the members of the crew. You said, that light should be moved. It should be over here. And you kept walking. I said, oh, see there? That's
so great. That's so great.
I would imagine, and even Crystal, I used to watch, what was the Carol Connor? In the Heat of the Night with Archie Bunker. Oh, my God.
Yeah, Archie Bunker.
With Archie Bunker.
Carol Connor.
Yeah.
He's always Archie Bunker.
Yeah, he's always going to be Archie Bunker.
Yes.
Listen to Phylicia tell the story about Tyler walking onto the set of a studio that he owns, being a black man, being an African man. Having been in the business as long as you have you seen anything like it? And then what impact would you predict that this could have on up-and-coming folks that are coming from the community that want to grab their own now instead of asking?
It takes it from a level of hope to possibility. When Tyler was moving to the new space, we work in the Dream Building. We knew he was building a studio. I built a house maybe a mile away from it right before he finalized all of that in a neighborhood that's changing. So as I came up to the studio for something one day, I saw one of the 12 being built, and he teases me all the time because I was in just a spiritual wreck. I was like, Tyler, I don't know if you have any worries, but everything is going to be fine. I mean, because what happened was I literally had this moment where I could see the future. It made me feel like how people must have been when Disney World seems big, right?
Yeah.
This seemed like unimaginable. And what I could see was that we're going to be the sepia pictures years from now. And it goes from now, you don't just have to think about it and hope for somebody. It's there. It exists. And nobody else has ever done it before. It's powerful to me.
I love how she slipped in there. I built a house from the studio. I have a house from the studio. I love this thing where I call her up and I say, hey, how much is your mortgage? What'd you tell him, Krista?
Nothing. No.
I don't
mortgage.
have
No,
one.
no. Mortgage? What's a mortgage? What is that, darling?
That's that have-nots money. Because
and it's in our neighborhood.
In our neighborhood.
That's what's up, man. A Fall from Grace. We have the entire cast here. Heather, you want to chime in?
Yeah, I think in my spirit, I just have something to say to each of you in my own way. Crystal, I would like to start with you. I remember you seeing you as well in the Heat of the Night, and there was this weird connection. You just had this shine. I don't know what other word to use. You just had this shine, and I felt like I knew you. And my cousins and everybody be like, she one of us. Like, it was this feeling, and it gave me hope that I can be who I am in my space, with my skin color, with my hair, with the shape of my body, with everything. Your shine just came through so bright, and I always had this connection and this spirit with you, and I'm so happy to be in your presence today. Bresha, I remember seeing you with the show with Martin, Love That Girl, and your shine. I was like, I know her. Like, I didn't know you personally, but I went to school with you. You was my cousin. You was my friend. You was that chick that I would cut school with. We would plan in the bathroom and be like, yo, we gonna blow up together, girl. Like, you was that girl. And when you came to the show, we met you for the first time to see your energy and your spirit, the work that you have gone on to do with Marlon and that show and everything. We just been rooting for you and cheering from you in the studio. We love you so much. Mr. Tyler Perry, why I respect and love you so much because you didn't shame me in front of everybody the last time you was at the show and I said another person was in your play. We just had our moment a little while ago. But I think the spirit of the story that I shared with you before, I did my first catering job working with one of his films. Someone had hired me, one of his plays, and opportunity. When I see you, I see opportunity. And it always reminds me in these random times, I feel like God just put you on my TV. It's like, help somebody. Every time I see you, it's like, help somebody and give them an opportunity. You never know where their spirit and their purpose is. Just bring them along and help. So thank you for that. And Miss Phylicia Rashad, my goodness, I was just having a conversation about you 4 days ago in Hooters, of all places. And somebody, I know, but I just
your name ring bells.
I just got to tell the truth and shame the devil, as my grandmother would say. A conversation came up about you about speaking too much about your dreams and speaking too much about your plans to the wrong people. And a friend at the table said they heard you say one time you used to always tell about your auditions, and the one time you didn't tell was the one time you had gotten an audition. I don't know if that was true or not. I don't know if that pertains to the Cosby Show. But when we turned on our televisions and saw you as Mrs. Claire Huxtable walk on the Cosby Show, you reminded each and every child that watched you to say what you have to say and do what you have to do, but do it with grace. And remember that your parents are always watching you. And that was something that I took with me every single place that I went. I'm like, what if Claire was my mama? Even if I had my mama, I had my mama. She was a nurse. I had my dad, but it was like, that's my mom somewhere in the background, to Sway's point. Thank you so much. Thank you for that grace. Thank you for reminding us that our parents are always watching us, and I appreciate you.
So we got to get these off right now because we don't know when we're going to have you all in the studio again. So we're going to say whatever we have to say.
Let's get it
all
on.
right. Okay. Let's talk about the movie too. Yeah. Oh, the movie wasn't what I expected.
No, because everybody, that Tyler Perry, he finna do the same old thing. Somebody gonna be in love, somebody gonna fall in love, somebody gonna get that heartbreak. It's gonna be the same old thing. I'm so sick of them Tyler Perry movies. But this one, you won't be able to figure out what's going on. Because for me, I wanted to write a story about a woman who, and every time I write about a woman, in my whole mind, and I'm thinking about my mother, who stayed with a man for 45 years until she died, who never gave her the love that she deserved. She never got to worthy in her life. She never felt like she was worthy of somebody truly loving her. So every time I write any female character, I'm thinking about her. I'm thinking about my sisters, and I was a little boy watching them go through all of this. And for a man-child, it's really difficult to watch your mother being belittled and beaten, and you can't protect her.
Yeah.
So I have this empathy and this sympathy and this love and this hope. So every time I write a story about any black woman, I'm trying to get some woman out there to recognize something within themselves so their child won't be sitting there looking at them like I looked at mine and wanting for nothing more than for her to be loved and feel loved, right? So Grace is a woman. This is stories about Grace. She's a woman who has had love, got a divorce, went through a really, really rough time, and had kind of given up. But she's not dumb. She's not weak. She's none of those things. She's a smart woman. She's got a life together, beautiful, of age, beautiful, still fine, still got a whole life to live. And she decides to open up and runs into that person.
That person. How much can I give up?
Not too many to plot
Not
twists.
too many to plot
Because people think
twists.
they got it, but I'm telling you, you're going to be on the edge of your seat once it starts. You won't be able to figure it out.
Once I saw the truth behind what was behind the curtain.
Yeah, that's right.
Once I saw what was behind the curtain, how, Bresha, let me ask you, how accurate would you say Tyler in encapsulating a woman's feelings, emotions, impulse? All you guys, if you could tap in, how well does he do?
He does it very well.
As a man,
yeah. I'm very impressed. Just the emotion that a woman goes through, and watching Grace, Crystal plays it so well, and just how
Jasmine.
And yes, me too, and being soft. But I identified even with Grace's character because the reluctancy that you feel when you fall in love and you're stepping back and you're holding yourself back. It's very intimate when you let a man into your space, and when she allowed him into her house. It was a big moment for her. And I was like, wow, how could a man really understand, how a woman feels when you allow a man into your space, being a single woman for so long? I have to commend you on that. I was like, man, I get it, because me being single in my life and being out here dating, it is a big moment for you to introduce a man to your living space.
What is it like? I mean, we do it all the time.
And I think the older you get, the more difficult it gets.
Yes,
Okay,
it does,
all right.
because you're aware of everything, and you see, you grow into understanding who you are and how much it is a privilege to be in my space and to be in whoever's space. And so I honor my space so much. So to allow someone in and for them to get to know you in your space is just, you did that.
He did that.
You did that.
Do you think that we need to go back to the old school ways when we first meet people? Like, I remember having to bring somebody home, and my brothers commenting, my father commenting. Do we need to go back to that old school way?
I think if you're going to marry them, that's not a bad idea. If you're going to marry them, but if you're just dating, it's a different thing. But
Okay.
And then we have Instagram. Instagram does it. I can stalk you forever before I even give you my number.
You got Instagram.
Come on now.
Phylicia, do you do social media?
No.
Wow.
I'm so with you.
Okay.
I'm so with you.
You never engaged.
Never?
Huh?
Well, no. I mean, my mother told me people need not know you personally. Everyone need not know you personally. And I think social media has given some anonymous people a very loud voice.
Absolutely.
And you just need to be a little careful about yourself and what you're putting out there.
That's why with nobody seeing my son, it's because I refuse to put him in this place of I'm going to throw you to the wolves and throw you to the world and put your picture everywhere so everybody knows who you are. And he's 5 years old and he doesn't even know what his where he comes from or who he is just yet. So it's very important to me that he knows who he is before somebody else starts to try and tell him who he is. And if I didn't have to have social media, because I have a team that handles it, I post everything, but I send it to them. I don't sign on. I don't know the passwords. I don't look at it. I don't know Facebook. I don't know how to get on Facebook. I don't know how to get on Instagram or Twitter. I send it to my team. I say, put this on it because I don't want that to be a part of my life where people are looking at. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's good to find out who you are before. Most people find their identity on social media.
And that's not true identity.
That's not true identity. That's virtual identity.
Yeah.
Right. Bresha, let me ask you, acting amongst these, because you're legendary in your own right. You've been putting in work for a long time.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I'll be funny sometimes.
Okay, I see. They are who they are.
Yes, they are. And it was kind of mind-blowing to walk into a room with these women and this man in that studio. It still blows me away. I'm still like, pinch me, please.
Okay.
And to be given the opportunity to do a drama like this and to sit alongside these legends is still blows my mind. I'm honored to be in their space and to sit at the table at these conversations and to participate in a master class. I learned so much. We did this so quickly. We did it in 5 days. But
what?
Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No games were played. No games were played. We were not playing.
Oh, in the heat of the night, y'all, one episode would take 5
days.
Weeks, right?
Yeah.
6 months.
26 episodes.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, so no games were played. So there was no time to doubt yourself or to come and half stepping. You had to bring it all to the table. And I was honored.
But she already had it.
Huh?
I saw it in Acrimony, but she already had that.
Uh-huh.
Bresha already had that, and that's what's so awesome is that you just had more on the plate to delve into, you know. But she already had that.
She already had it.
Absolutely.
I want to thank y'all for coming. I know we only got so much time. I want to thank y'all for coming on the show. Each and every one of you guys have done monumental things in your careers that have kept all of us motivated, inspired, and every time I see you, Tyler, I smile. Always been on your side. I love what you stand for, coming from homelessness and then to become who you are today. I know a lot of people who are homeless, who have been homeless. I read the quote when you said you went into Atlantic City and then saw the sign, home of Tyler Perry Studios or whatever it is.
In Atlanta, yeah.
In Atlanta, yeah. What'd I say? Atlantic City.
Yeah.
I play poker. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm headed there next.
You're headed there next? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm headed to Atlantic City next.
But what I like is that you went back to scripture, St. Mark, that came to mind when you saw your name. So you never lost that core. that basis, right?
No, absolutely not, and I never will, because I'm telling you, it's been the entire strength of everything I get. My mother didn't have some great legacy. She didn't have millions of dollars to give to me, but she taught me about faith and God. And I'm telling you, had I not had that foundation, I don't know where I'd be. Because here's the thing: if you don't teach your kids something, they're going to find something to turn to in the time of trouble.
Yeah.
So my mother taught me about God and faith, and that is the thing that held me through all of it. Even to this point, it still carries me through. And I hope to pass that on to my son, and I'm hoping more people will pass that on to their kids, so that even if they want to do other things, they at least have the option to know God, the option to pray, the option to have faith, so that you'll realize that things can turn out okay. Yeah.
And then thank you. Finally, Phylicia, Miss Rashad, if I may.
He's nervous.
I am nervous. I have. I came when you were just talking to me. I feel like I was Theo Hustable right there. When you were your sister Debbie Allen. Oh my!
That's a family right there. Man.
Yes, please.
Can you imagine growing up in that household?
The pressure.
Oh, right. But she came on our show, and when I was in, I never expected in my wildest dreams for her to come up here on Sirius XM Shade 45. Just to put it in context, when I was younger, my older sister, kind of raised me and my older brother. And who she loved and admired and who she thought she was in our house was your sister, Debbie Allen in fame. So I learned West African dance. I learned
I gotta see
how to do percussion.
He want receipts, Sway.
I'm dead ass serious. I danced in tights up until high school.
Oh, wow.
But the drive, that she took it from the character, obviously. But then we got to know who your sister was outside of the character, and your sister was a tentpole in our house of inspiration. So, I got a chance to thank her. What was it like growing up in y'all household a little bit as kids, as entertainers? Did y'all dance at, like, we used to? My sister used to do choreography at the Christmas parties, because she thought she was Debbie Allen. Yeah. And so, did y'all used to do that?
Debbie was always dancing. From the time she was walking, she was dancing. Mm-hmm. She turned to my mother one day. I think she was about 9 years old. She said, "I need a ballet teacher, a real ballet teacher, and you're not doing anything about it."
That's so good. That's so good.
At 9.
Yeah, but our mother taught us to express ourselves in that way. She was when I think about the things we did as kids, and she never said no, how we created a skating rink on our floor by pouring baby powder all over it and put on our socks. How I made an alarm system on the screened-in porch off my bedroom by taking a box of cornflakes and sprinkling it all over the floor, because if the burglar came, it would crunch and I would hear him. But he didn't come. The rain came instead.
Soggy cereal.
And she never said no. She never chastised us for that, for being creative and stuff. She never did.
And then look at the result now. Worthy of applause. Phylicia Rashad, Bresha Webb, Crystal Fox, Tyler Perry, A Fall from Grace. Make sure y'all check that out on the 17th, January 17th.
On Netflix,
On Netflix. And how many projects will the studio be pumping out this year? Roughly.
The television is right now, I got my hands full with television. So I'm looking at 2 or 3 movie projects, but television is where it is for me right now.
On television. We had Will Smith here Friday, and he spoke about the moment that they were all on your set. Yeah. Will, Tracy, Wesley. Who am I missing?
Eddie.
Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
What did that feel like for you to see?
Well, first of all, they're filming Zamunda there from Coming to America. Wakanda was filmed there, and to have all of them there at the same time, man, I was like, man, what I was thinking was, damn, I wish I had been in that picture.
Yep.
Historic.
That's it.
They should have called me so I could have been down there for that.
Damn, that's what I felt like when I saw this picture, because Tyler said next time you shoot a film, or he's gonna put us in it. It didn't happen.
I don't remember that happening. Okay. Go ahead, Sway.
Nah, congratulations, you guys. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.